Coming up on Focus on Sports, the men's basketball team is back in action after a hectic week within the program.
Time to celebrate those seniors from women's basketball team. We tell you how they did.
Plus, baseball takes on nationally ranked Santa Barbara down south. Your Focus on Sports starts now. Hello and welcome to Fresno State Focus on Sports. I'm Bianca Gonzalez.
And I'm Ricardo Lozada. We welcome you to our first show of the semester. We begin with Fresno State in the national spotlight.
It's a black eye for the university and the men's basketball team. Alexis Bruno is here to get us caught up. Alexis?
Fresno State men's basketball guard Zayon Collins is back on the court after his betting allegations. Collins is one of 3 under investigation for betting on fantasy apps like Sleeper Price Picks. Guard Michael Robinson and Jalen Weaver, the one that's dribbling right now, are no longer on the team after betting on themselves. Weaver told ESPN that he bet over in points, so he never bet against the team. Robinson bet under, going against the basketball team. Collins says he never bet on his game and only bet on professional games. But this is still an NCAA rule violation. Student athletes playing NCAA-sponsored sports are not allowed to bet on professional, intercollegiate, and other amateur competitions in sports. This past Saturday was the first time Zayon Collins took the court after missing the last game against Air Force. As for the game that happened this Saturday, Boise State and the men's basketball team put up a good fight, but they ended up falling short to the Broncos. The first half saw a shorthanded Fresno State just 1 point behind Boise State, 27-26. Freshman guard Brian Amunique led the first half with 11 points. Zayon Collins and Jasir Tremble also had a high-scoring night. However, the Dogs could not keep up on defense, with rebounding being the struggle of the night. The Dogs ended the Broncos on top 66-61. Jasir Tremble finished the game as the leading scorer for the Bulldogs with 19 points. During the press conference, Coach Vance Wahlberg explained why the team gave up so many offensive rebounds.
You know, when you're playing 2 little guards, you know, and then at times we got Brian at the 3, you know, you're going to get hurt on the boards. You know, we gave up, I think, 17, I don't know, some offensive rebounds, and even that type of game, you just can't do that.
The Dogs hope to stay tough for their next game against Wyoming tomorrow night, which will be the last home game of the season. Just today, we're speaking again about Brian Amunique. He was selected this morning as the Mountain West Conference Freshman of the Week. Bianca and Ricardo, back to you guys.
Fresno State women's basketball continues searching for the 5th seed in the Mountain West tournament. The Lady Dogs hosted senior night against New Mexico on Saturday. The Lady Dogs started strong with a 17-5 run in the first half, their largest lead going all the way up to 22 points. It wasn't enough, though, as the Lobos won 65-61. Junior Mia Jacobs, number 23, broke her 4-game double-double drought and still leads the Mountain West. Jacobs also scored her 1,000th point at Fresno State. Fresno State's regular season finale is tomorrow night at San Diego State.
The number 6 Fresno State equestrian team saw its 4-meet winning streak come to an end Saturday, falling 11-9 number 8 South Carolina. It was the Bulldogs' first loss of the season. Fresno State excelled in Western events, earning most outstanding performance honors. Kendra Lee was named Horsemanship Most Outstanding Player. Brogan Hill earned the top spot in reining. The Bulldogs took horsemanship 4-1, but South Carolina dominated fences flat to secure the win. The Bulldogs now turn their focus to the road, taking on TCU and Oklahoma State next weekend before the Big 12 championship.
The Fresno State softball team licks the state undefeated at home this season. Fresno State split the weekend with 2 wins and 2 losses at Margie Wright Diamond. On Friday, the Bulldogs mercy ruled Cal State Bakersfield 8-0 after losing to Cal in their first game 9-8. On Saturday, they split games again with a second loss against Cal 7-2 and a win over Southern Utah 5-0. Sunday's second game against Bakersfield was canceled because of the rain, but it will be rescheduled. The Bulldogs' weekend was highlighted by excellent defense with Fresno State picking up their first and second shutout wins of the season.
The Fresno State women's water polo team beat Concordia last week at home and went on the road to take on number 4 UCLA in Los Angeles Saturday. The Water Dogs shot the ball well. Senior Brooke Ochoa scored 6 times. That was a career best. Junior Haley Andres scored twice in the game. A trio of dogs had 1 goal apiece with Caitlin Mossman, Sydney Strickland, and Kira Anderson. The scoring from the dogs was not enough to beat the Bruins and defeat Fresno State 24-11. The Dogs head back to the Golden Coast Conference play next week on the road against Santa Clara. Fresno State hockey team closed out its season with a hard-fought win on Sunday. The game was slow start with Santa Rosa scoring the lone goal of the first period. After that, it was electric. Goals and bruisings, hits cranked up the temperature, and penalties were flying. The team combined for a whopping 23 penalty calls. After 2 periods, it was knotted up at 3 apiece. Fresno State poured it on in the third thanks to number 67, Dalen Mannon. Mannon netted 4 goals and assisted 2 more. His 6 points powered an Ice Dogs to a 6-4 victory.
The Fresno State baseball team took on nationally ranked Santa Barbara in a rematch of last year's regional over the weekend. Eddie Saldivar drove in 1 with this RBI down the right field line, but the Bulldogs fell 3-1 on Friday night. On Saturday, Santa Barbara led 6-2, but the Bulldogs took a run off the board with this rob job from outfielder Sky Collins. The Dogs exploded with this triple into left field from Justin Stransky in the 4th. The next at-bat, Caden Munster hit this 2-run bomb. That's the first of his career. Jacob Pappas also hit his first home run as well. Plus, Bobby Blanford had this bomb, which was his second of the day, but the Bulldogs lost in extra innings 8-7. Trying to avoid the sweep on Sunday, Fresno State sent out Aiden Cremarosa onto the mound, who pitched very well, going 6 2/3 innings. He was able to strike out 7 gauchos. The Bulldogs avoided the sweep 2-1 against UCSB. With Cremarosa's outing on Sunday, he was selected as the Mountain West Pitcher of the Week. That is the 3rd straight week a Diamond Dog has been selected by the Mountain West's weekly honors. Fresno State is back at home tomorrow against Cal Poly, first pitch being at 5:05.
You know, Ricardo, the Dogs have had quite an eventful weekend, but one thing I want to point out is, yes, they had a couple losses over the weekend. However, I do not think that is something to stress about because they have been scoring so well and hitting consistently from the top to the bottom of the lineup. And it has been it has been very fun to watch. What are you thinking?
For me personally, I look at this team, and what I'm looking at is the pitching staff on that team. You have Jack Anchor. He was the Mountain West Pitcher of the Week 2 weeks ago. Aiden Cremarosa this week. You start looking up and down, and you're like, you might have 2 aces on this team. And that just makes a team able to make the regional very, very, very possible.
Absolutely. The season continues for the swim and dive team. The Dogs took part in the Mountain West tournament in Texas a couple weeks ago, and they took some hardware home. The Dogs finished 3rd as a team in the tournament. Some of the swimmers that had made a big splash were sophomore Jenna Pokian and junior Elise Kalmar, who placed on the podium in the 200 breaststroke. Seniors Julia Matney and Kara Hannigan had their personal best swimming in the 200-yard butterfly, which was timed in the 2-minute range. One of those swimmers is here with us in the studio right now with Jarrett Smith. Jarrett?
Yeah, that's right, Bianca. Swimming is a physically demanding sport, and this year's swim and dive team has distinguished itself as outstanding athletes for Fresno State. Joining me now in the studio is all Mountain West swimmer Elise Kalmar. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
So last month, we talked about it. 3rd place in the Mountain West tournament, program best. What is your reaction to that?
Well, I want to say it surprises me, but definitely not. We worked very hard. These ladies are strong fighters, and we deserved it, I think.
I think so too. So you have set the 200-meter breaststroke record for the program on multiple occasions. What dedication does it take on your part to keep raising the bar?
Well, speaking about working hard, it also important to have the rest, recovery, and every little detail matters at that point. to be able to go faster and faster every time. So.
Yeah, unfortunately, we only have time for one more question. So what sort of event do you have coming up?
We have coming up the NCAAs in 2 weeks, which is basically for me and my teammate Yanna. We qualify individually for that, but we will represent the team.
Thank you very much for your time joining us in the studio here.
Thank you very much.
Coming up, we recap the heated battle of LA between the Lakers and Clippers. And then we look at tonight's battle between the Warriors and the Hornets. Plus, we highlight our first student athlete of the week right after the break.
I got the bulldog spirit up in my head.
Up in my head.
Up in my head.
I got that bulldog spirit. Up in my head. Up in my head to say. I got that bulldog spirit. Deep in my heart. Deep in my heart. Deep in my heart. Got that bulldog spirit. Deep in my heart. Deep in my heart to stay. I got that bulldog spirit. Down in my toes. Down in my toes. Down in my toes. I got that bulldog spirit. Down in my toes. Hey. Down in my toes to stay. I got that bulldog spirit. Up in my head. Deep in my heart. Down in my toes. I got that bulldog spirit. All over me. All over me to stay. I got that bulldog spirit.
Deep in my heart.
Deep in my heart. Deep in my heart.
The NBA season is heating up and teams are making their final pushes for a playoff spot. Lots of teams from the Western Conference were in action on Sunday, including a Battle of LA between the Lakers and Clippers. Luka Doncic finished off with a team high of 29 points, and Kawhi Leonard ended with a game high of 33 points. The Lakers came out on the 6-point win over the Clippers. The Golden State Warriors traveled to Charlotte today to take on the struggling Hornets.
This semester on Focus, we are doing something a little bit different, highlighting high school sports around the Valley by showcasing student athletes and events. Our first student athlete of the week is senior right down the road from us at Hoover High School. Brian Welch introduces him to us.
Baseball season is right around the corner at Fresno Field, and the Hoover High School Patriots are gearing up for another season. One of the players ready to make a difference is senior Asa Medina. Medina says the love of baseball is an escape.
I love baseball because it's just a way to get out of the real world. You know, you just step on the field and it's just nothing but baseball.
Medina also says it is the bonds he will never forget with his teammates at Hoover.
Just coming out here every day and even sometimes not taking it so serious, just having fun. I feel like this is just something I'll remember for the rest of my life.
Medina's teammate LaShawn Carey is somebody that grew up with Medina.
I've had a lot of memories just maturing together. I feel like growing up, seeing each other grow up and seeing the differences between us have been cool.
Medina's baseball coach, the head coach David Jones, says that Medina has a good work ethic.
He's the guy I can go to kind of lead the team and talk to and say, hey, I need you to take the team in this direction. They get tired of hearing my voice.
When Medina's not at the shortstop position, he's on the mound pitching. Last season for Hoover High School had an earned run average of 3.30 with 8 starts and 3 complete games. Medina is looking for a big season in 2025.
We're going to compete. We're going to go out there and we're going to compete. I think this is the best we've been in a few years, since I've been here. And I think we can really make a run here in the playoffs this year.
That is why Asa Medina is our student athlete of the week. At Fresno Field, Brian Welch, Fresno State Focus.
The Patriots baseball team starts their home portion of the season this Saturday against Selma High School. If you would like to nominate a student athlete of the week, you can contact Brian Welch on a message on his Instagram page. Brian Welch 127.
The Dogs have a few home games coming up this week. Men's basketball team takes on Wyoming here at home. Tip-off is set at 7. Also tomorrow, the women's basketball team is on the road at San Diego State. Tip-off is set for 6 p.m. Tomorrow, Fresno State baseball takes on Cal Poly at Pete Biden Field. The first pitch is at 5 o'clock. All right, it's our favorite time of the show. It is Top Dog of the Week, and I'm going to go first. My Top Dog of the Week is center fielder Bobby Blandford. Did you guys not see that bomb earlier? I mean, how could I not pick him? 2 home runs in that same game, plus the first one got the Dogs on the board. Alexis.
Well, I'm going to go with Brian Amunique, freshman. We've been talking about him all broadcast log. He's stepping up in a super, super depleted team. They've been going through a lot. They really need Brian Amunique to step up, and he has been. Ricardo?
For me personally, I'm going to stick with the basketball. Huge game against Boise State. I'm going to go with Zayon Collins. He had 17 points, dealt with everything early in the week, but showed out at the end of the week.
How about you, Jarrett?
All right, so I know we're in the Valley and we're in California, and this is not a hockey market whatsoever, but I would be remiss if I did not mention Dalen Mannon. 4 goals, 2 assists on the day, 6 points total. How can I not shout that out?
Where can they watch hockey at, though?
Yeah, so the season just ended, unfortunately, but next fall you can catch those Ice Dogs at Gateway Ice Center at the intersection of the 99 and Clinton Avenue.
And that's our show.
You can catch more sports with Roland Fullwood on our first newscast this Wednesday.
And we'll be back next week to bring you more of your weekly focus on sports.